cowboy boots with such progressive values. Thank you for your leadership on this bill. And Adam, thanks for your leadership on the issue. Driving down the turnpike west, coming in from Washington yesterday, my colleague Mike and I were coming down, and we came, in the distance on the turnpike, you saw these windmills. These great big windmills. It was fantastic. But as you got closer to the windmills, and just as they were directly in your line of sight, there was a nice big billboard that said, "Coal is the next green," or something like that. So we are in for a tremendous fight to get these things moving forward because the special interests have a lot of money because they've been pocketing it off the last years, and they're ready to fight. My name is Jon Powers. I'm with the Truman National Security Project. The Truman Project's mission is to help progressives lead on national security, begin to close the traditional 30-point gap that conservatives have over progressives on national security. Fortunately, we have closed that gap, and we have a wonderful opportunity right now to take the issue, and that's where energy security, I think, really comes into play. We've launched a program called Operation Free at the Truman National Security Project, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I was a captain in the 1st Armored Division. I spent 15 months in Iraq. I went back as a civilian to do work with kids over there. And people sometimes ask me, what does the military think of this, or what do soldiers think of this? And my first day in the service, I literally was straight out of college as an education major, and I went to my Army unit, and my platoon sergeant grabbed me, pulled me aside to the side of the motor pool, and said, "Sir, there's 2 types of leaders in the military. There's those that lead by rank, and there's those that lead by example. Soldiers are going to follow those that outrank them because they have to, but they want to follow someone that sets an example, someone that sets a standard. And unfortunately, in this issue, we as a nation have begun to lead by rank. We're the biggest, we're the strongest. We expected other countries to follow us when we're not even signing on to our treaties that we helped create. It's time to lead by example. I took this message up to the Senate just a few weeks ago and testified with actually Senator John Warner from Virginia, who's getting out on the issue, and some other folks. We have an opportunity to implement this leadership, and the next few months are critical. The Center for New American Security, I think, says it very well. The climate change may not be a threat that soldiers can attack and defeat, but is likely to affect the safety and prosperity of every American. And so we sort of see it as a 3-pronged approach. There's climate change, energy security, and national security, and they all come together. And we have to make sure we're talking about them all together, because there's obviously dialogue on how national security is affected by climate change when you have droughts and you have instability and you have fragile states in places like sub-Saharan Africa. That's very important. But we also have to talk about the root causes of climate change and our addiction to oil, and how Al-Qaeda uses it as an Achilles heel for us. We talked about securing our energy as a critical piece of that. One of our fellows at Truman did really interesting research that showed for every $5 increase in the barrel of oil, which has gone from $30 a barrel to 65 from just since December, that we're sending Putin an extra $18 billion a year. We're sending Ahmadinejad an extra $7.9 billion a year. We're sending Chavez $4.7 billion a year extra. Now, oil's predicted to hit $100 by 2010. And we know that OPEC, for instance, has the ability to help us here, and really they can put our security in their hands by bringing down the price. But do we want to put our security in their hands? And as a military veteran, I don't think so. And I don't think the American public wants our security in their hands. We want to take it back. And we're in a very unique opportunity right now with the ACES bill going into the Senate, with Copenhagen coming up in December, to really act on this. And to really begin to make sure the right policies are moving forward. We implement leadership by example in this country and set a standard for others to follow. We've launched Operation Free at the Truman National Security Project to build a coalition of national security organizations. VoteBet's one of them, the National Security Network. We're also working behind the scenes with groups like Pew, Charitable Trust, and the American Security Project. So we have grass tops folks like Senator Kerry and John Warner taking this message not only into the Senate halls.
You mean Mark Warner?
What's that?
You mean Mark Warner?
No, John Warner. John Warner is actually...
He's retired.
Yeah, retired. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Retired Senator John Warner is actually championing the climate change and national security piece with Pew, which is ironic. But you guys, he's former Navy. He really believes in this. He's actually progressive on this. We don't always come to the same conclusions on where we need to go, but he's got a great voice because he can bring over some of the moderates to this issue. So we're building this coalition, and we want to have 100 vets across the country. We're recruiting, we've got a lot lined up already, who are going to not only work within the local communities, meet with local leaders, but go to the press. We're going to actually spend a day up on the Hill with veterans and military and national security folks. So it's an incredible opportunity for us to organize on it, but also to start to push back and retake national security as an issue that progressives should own. So you definitely check out opfree.net, sign operationfree.net. Today we're doing Follow Friday on Twitter. So if you're a Twitter, go on and follow Friday at Operation Free. And also see Mike back there if you're interested in enlisting. And we've started a blog on Operation Free to write, to support the stuff that Adam's doing. Just get cross-posting pieces that are coming out from people like Senator Kerry. So please check it out, and we look forward to the discussion.